Right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Rek and Matt, Rashmir, and Ella. Hello. Good to see you all. Hopefully everything is working now. Not used this computer since, well, for a little while. And everything just wanted to update and panic and reset passwords and everything. So I had lots to do in a very short space of time. And I might not have been very prepared. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, we're finally taking a look at the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max. So, yes, the plan is to unbox it. We'll take a bit of a look and we'll use it, and then I can provide some feedback to Elegoo. They've been asking me for some feedback for a little while, and, well, basically, I've not had time to do it. So today we're going to be fixing that by at least getting it out of the box and taking a look inside. I think we already know that the firmware is going to be basically Clipper, like we saw on the very smaller version of this printer, but we can provide some feedback on other things too, hopefully. So, I don't want to delay too much. We'll probably just get straight into it. What have you done with your newly founded space? Well, I'm still making space. There's still lots of space to make. I mean, I added some lighting, some blue lights. That's progress. And some other lighting in a stand form here, which is quite good. I don't know if it will make any difference. I mean, it almost looks better without that one, to be honest. You get more of the blue. Anyway, I've added some other lighting. Still getting rid of stuff. Need to ship out the Darwin Evo. And I've just finished buying all the parts for Joe Prusa's Darwin, so that will be starting hopefully fairly soon. Another reason I want to get this and a couple of other live streams that I've promised out of the way before we start that. So all of those parts are sort of coming and on the way now, and hopefully I can get started with that. The first video in that series is basically going to probably be kind of released in line with bill of materials, and we'll discuss the parts and the bill of materials and where to get things and what you need to get and what you can change and bloody 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 blah kits and all this kind of stuff. Well, at least it's not in my hallway. Well, I don't really have a hallway, but at least it's not in my space anymore. I'm glad you've taken it away. Make a comparison between the Neptune 4 Max and the Darwin Evo. Oh, Neptune Max big, Darwin Evo cool. Comparison finished. I bought these as well. These just came today. Modbot made that video, and I was like, I've already got those. They're just the same. Oh, no, they're not the same. They have this like parallel moving jaw, which I thought was kind of cool. So I've added a new tool to the arsenal. I already have the other type of pliers, but a little one. You've probably seen me use these little things quite a lot. I just use these basically for just grabbing stuff. You can just grab incredibly tightly and just, yeah, good for pulling and grabbing and whatnot. These will find a use. We'll see how good they are. I mean, they're Knipex, so I'm sure the build quality will be pretty good. But yes, of course, they're the Knipex ones. These are the extra fancy handle. This is like the cheap version handle. But for me, the expensive version handle was very small amount more. So yes. I don't know why I showed those. They were just on the desk because they literally arrived 5 minutes ago. So let's get on with unboxing it. As you can see, I've literally not even opened this thing at all. It's all still completely sealed. So I've not checked anything on the inside. Hopefully it's all fine. This was provided to me by Elegoo, but nothing beyond that. They're just like, would you like printer? I'm like, yeah, sure. So they generally are after some feedback. So that's what I'm going to try and provide for them, and hopefully for all of you as well. I don't know if I'm going to bother. I've only got a couple of hours. I don't have quite as long as normal. So we probably won't, because I'm so sure that the firmware is going to be literally identical to the other one. It seems pointless breaking two printers. Whee! Whee! Well, that really flew. Looks like there's some just big spaces for, because you can get it with filament, as you might have seen on the front of the box. It's filament, but not. So that would be where your filament goes if you bought it with filament. Then in here, we've got a power cable. Nice to have a proper UK power cable. Bunch of accessories, including a network cable. That's pretty good. And a USB drive. A weird NetTac branded. Yeah. And then just a bunch of screws and stuff. There's a little micro SD card reader. This is the little screen holder and spool holder. Some instructions for stuff. And then the blowimetron for the cooling. It's not a full, blowimetron, but it's the cooling duct thing. Now, this is going to be a bit of a challenge because it's bigger than me and the desk. So yeah. This is the only problem I have with large printers. People want them and people want reviews, but like finding space to put them is almost impossible because they're so flippin' huge. Right, that's the first layer. I know we've got the hot end extruder assembly. Ooh. It is, yes, hot end and extruder. Do we have lights? We have a light. That was one of my feedback things from before. Light space down the front. Cool beans. No, this is not going to fit on screen. I wish my camera would go wider, but it doesn't. So I don't, maybe I can find find, it's not like I have one, but the thing is, I was going to try and get maybe a more fisheye or wider lens, because I do have it quite close for doing the live stream stuff. But lenses are pretty expensive. So, oh my gosh. Just lifting this thing out the box. Kitty Corner. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Am I reading the chat? Yes, kind of. It's on two screens for some reason at the same time, which I really don't need. Right. I've got a cable here. Is that all attached? That is attached. They could probably improve the packaging so that there's somewhere to put your hand in to be able to lift it out. Because it's so big. You lift one corner and the others all get jammed in. One thing I do kind of want to try with this printer, you get some blocks to support the thing during the shipping. One thing I want to try is a massive Huforge print. But I don't have a great multi-material, so I have to manage it manually. What else have we got in here? Oh, we've got the screen with the doobly-doo attached. We've got the rods for the stiffening. Ta-da! Printer! Whoop. It is an absolutely monstrously huge machine. Do make sure you have space before buying it. It's bigger than you might think. So these rods look basically the same as before, and they go from like here just up the back, stop the whole kind of gantry thing wobbling back and forwards. I think it's 420 rather than 500. I think James just shared the dimensions for the print volume. Oh, it is Neptune 4 Max. I think I put somewhere, I think on my tweet, for some reason it came out as Neptune 5. I think I was just typing fast and hit the wrong button. I think on the YouTube title though it looks right. This is the Neptune 4, not 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they do make a 5. They do seem to have a bit of a trend. We've gone 2, 3, 4, so it would be weird to not continue it with a number 5. So we've got some instructions. Checking the switch. Oh, that's pretty difficult. It looks like it says 230. And the hotbed slide blocks. I need to somehow get all of these. Let's throw that out. Right, I suppose we should take a look inside, as that's what I normally do. Right. So for those watching, hoping for some instructions, or just instructions only, you can skip ahead a bit because we're going to be doing a bit of teardown. And if all you want is instructions, then you don't need this part. I'm just going to get one of the things what I printed out recently. I designed, just for funsies, these cool little hex storage box things. So they stack and they pattern together. So you can make cool patterns and puzzles and whatnot. And then they stack up really nice and tidily as well. Neat, eh? For now, just needing one. So hopefully all of these screws around here are the same size. I'd prefer socket head rather than button head just because they're less likely to strip. Button heads tend to be a little bit weak, especially these small M3 ones. Oh, that's a short one. Short one here. I'm probably not going to be keeping this printer long enough for anything to wear out, purely because I just don't have the space to keep it. I'll probably be trying it out. I'll post some stuff on maybe Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, like some things that I printed on it. But I don't have the space here to be able to keep loads of stuff, especially enormous printers like this. So what I'm doing here is just taking this bottom panel off so we can take a look at the electronics inside and see if things are done how we'd like them to be done. Or more specifically, how I'd like them to be done. Electropie, if you're one of the people who has pre-ordered, I apologize it's taking so long. There could be some significant move forwards on that in the next few months. I'm having to take a slightly different route to what the original plan was, because one thing happened and then another thing happened and things happened all in a row. And basically the only way we could get it to work was with it being way too expensive. So it was just not really viable as a product like that. So I'm improving it to make sure that I provide what was suggested. That's not the right word. I provide what I said I would, but also at a price point that is acceptable. Right, hopefully we've got this whole bottom panel off. Sort of. For some reason it's sticking. Does it slide? Hey? Oh, it's this silly draw film, I suppose. Yes. Oh, and that's the fan. Don't know where it connects. Probably there. I think that was where it was. Okay. So, nice big... I mean, this itself is pretty heavy. What happened to my Voron 2.4? So I'm selling one at the moment. That is sitting down behind me. It's absolutely fine. It's just here. And the other one is currently printing. Why did we take out the bottom panel? Just so we can have a look. Just for funsies, basically. Because that's what I do. There's not a lot in here. There's a lot of empty space. Ah. I'd like to be able to lift this so you can see a bit better, but it's a little bit on the heavy side, as you might imagine. Not sure. It's a bit weird. Oh, maybe it's magnet. Don't know. Oh. Try not to lose everything. Come here. So this is your control board. Not the best view, I'm afraid. Let's see if I can read off what we've got. So we've got some supercapacitors in here, which are probably part of a power saving thing, or maybe for this eMMC memory. All the connectors joined in with hot glue, including some hot glue dumped right into that connector, so that's not great. one thing I'd like to see this year is that we stop putting glue into every little crevice we can find. 1, 2, 3, 4 stepper drivers, so 1 motor per axis. Can't see what type of stepper driver, hopefully it mentions on the website. Other than that, nothing particularly interesting. Fans, motors. Is this Ethernet? It looks like it. Yeah. They even glued in the locking Ethernet connector. That's unnecessary. So you have got wired connection as an option, which is nice. Oh my goodness, look at all this glue. That's the most gloop I've ever seen on anything. Even 3D gloop has less gloop than that. Look at it. It's like a flipping snowstorm. Glue be gone. Got some LEDs, which is nice. Always like to see some LEDs. Not sure exactly what all of these things are. There's quite a few things plugged in. There's like MOSFET for the bed. We've got connectors, quite nicely terminated. Pulled a little bit tight, but not too bad. This one's definitely too tight. Definitely not quite ideal, but it's not the end of the world. To the power supply. Power supply is a 24 volt, 17 amps. Okay, well, maybe it's not a mains powered bed. What's going on down here? It's coming in here. Okay, so it's not a mains powered bed. It just has a external MOSFET. So a bit like an SSR, I suppose. It just means that the switching is done on a MOSFET that's got lots more cooling capacity and much more current capacity than the little one that you would find on the main board. Sorry. This bit down here. So you can see the great big heatsink. You've got your input and output, and then this will be the trigger for turning it on and off. This is the big ribbon cable that goes up for the gantry. And I think that's just about it. Oh, there's a little antenna connector. So there's a little antenna connector onto the board down here. So this wire here, this is for a wireless antenna. So if you want to connect to Wi-Fi, you can add an external Wi-Fi antenna if your signal is not that great. Gloopy gloop. Got a bed level sensor. Yeah, ooh, that's kind of normal. Connection on the front, USB-C, USB Type A, and the screen. Right. Do we have any more questions on the front? Soldered wires. It doesn't look like it. These are all definitely crimped. We can take one off and have a closer look just to double check. Not obviously, I would say no, based on the way that it's crimped. So, and the only ones that would be down here are bootlace ferrules, and I don't think those are soldered either. Not that I can easily get to them. Yeah, they don't look soldered either. So electrically, I'd say looking reasonably good. Can't see to put this thing in. The only other weird thing we often get is the mains connector not being very good. This one's a decent one. So quite often it will only switch either the mains or either the live or the neutral side, whereas we should be switching both. So this one has, you probably can't see it, it's miles away. Let's try and get you zoomed in as much as possible. Yeah, you can sort of see there, if it's going to focus. So you can see, I mean, the coloring's not right for UK, but I know that US is different, so it is what it is. But you can see both going in one side of the switch and coming out the other side of the switch. So they're both switched with the on and off button. Yay! Do we have any more questions on the inside before we go into the rest of the assembly? Hello, Steve. Good to see you. Are the stepper motors frames grounded? Huh? Stepper motor, I don't know really what you're talking about. I suppose this glue is quite easily removable. It just seems odd. Does it really provide that much resilience to it coming unstuck during shipping? Maybe it does. I guess the fact that they keep doing it suggests that it seems to be working. But at the same time, who really knows? Oh. I think really we could switch to a connector that locks in if we need them to not come out. Right, no further questions, so let's move on. By that I mean take ages putting all these screws back in. Where's the bottom panel gone? Here it is. So even this piece is steel, probably 1 mil thick, pretty heavy. Let's make sure we can get all the screws in before we tighten too much down. Yeah, Elegoo definitely up there with decent quality. They're obviously still kind of targeting that lower price bracket in general, but they do well on the budget. Especially for a machine this size, I don't think there's much that competes at this price range and size. Obviously, if you want like wider material compatibility, if you want to be printing ASA or something this size, this printer's probably not going to be the one for you. But so I mentioned HueForge earlier, and for those that haven't seen maybe all the social posts and stuff that I've done recently, you may not know that I 3D printed all of my Christmas gifts this year, which is not many. I don't do a lot of Christmas gifts, but just for family, I printed them all HueForge things because I wanted to learn it. I wanted to provide some gifts that look cool, and HueForge gifts look pretty cool. That is gifts, not GIFs. I didn't print an animated GIF. So obviously we've got to do the Darwin Evo build for Joe, and then after that I kind of want to do a Trident, and then hopefully maybe the third build of the year, if we get that far, I'd like to have like a HueForge printer, which is like this size of XY, but only like 50 mil Z, and then just like a rack for loads of filaments. So you can do like a bunch of different colors, but only on a very limited Z height. But we're talking quite a few months away for that, so. But I think it would be cool because a lot of the time I really don't need these printers with like a huge Z. A lot of the stuff that I print is like engineering type parts, like parts for 3D printers, which are not very tall. And obviously HueForge things are very, very small. They're like 2 millimeters in Z maximum. So it'd be cool to create a machine that's sort of optimized for that. I'm thinking maybe a Ratrig VCore 3.1 in a 500mm size, but with a 200mm Z kit or something, or even try to mod it so it's even shorter than that. I think that would be kind of funny and also kind of awesome. Can't remember which which screws I've tightened and which ones I haven't. Okay, I think that'll do. Never say never, except when it comes to extra large bed flickers. Yeah. I have one of those mini electric screwdrivers. In fact, I have two, and I even made a video to compare them. Quite honestly, I just don't get on with them that well. Right. So now we've got to work out how to put this flipping thing together, which will be pretty easy, so that's not really much to worry about. Let's have a quick look to see if it suggests any particular order of operations. Put the thing in a thing, put the thing on the thing, put the other thing on the other thing, put that thing on that thing, put this thing on the top, those things on the back, this thing on the back, plug those things in, bibbidi bobbidi boom. Easy peasy, okie dokie. Let's do that. That was a reference. Yes, 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 I saw. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would recommend trying to support this, maybe using the packaging or something. I'm obviously not doing that. I don't want to bend the lead screws. That's the thing you want to be kind of careful of. They're not that strong, although they are like 8mm steel, so they should be fine. Where's the... Oh, we should tear this apart, shouldn't we? But one thing I want to check is the nozzle. Oh, this... Well, that just comes off. Does that just clip on? Oh no, it will screw on. That's how this... Okay. So you've got quite a thick, but a small NEMA 14 type motor, I think that is. Kind of a pancake, but it's quite a thick pancake. A little sort of toolboard thing on the back here. This, I don't remember exactly what the Neptune 3 hot end assembly looked like, but I think this is a bit different. Question is, will this nozzle just come out? No. So they've gone to like the bamboo style of doing things, or this new where you just have a block and you just glue a heater on one side. That's kind of how bamboo's doing it. It seems to work reasonably well. So let's hope this implementation is sufficient. They've got quite a long heat zone, so potential for some decent flow rates. Although I probably won't have time to test that today. Then everything just connects back to the main board via a big ribbon cable in the top. I quite like this. Not that it necessarily makes a huge difference, but... Oh. So that should just go on there. Selection of tools, zip ties, some probably awful filament, some screws. Got another nozzle in there. Can't even see if it's marked as to what size it is. I don't think it has any size marking. That's not ideal. Apparently a giveaway. Oh, look, this is a Wi-Fi antenna. So if you want to put Wi-Fi antenna on, they do seem to include one. Hopefully that helps for people that need it. What size screws did it want for this? So M3x8 and M3x14. Two M3x8. M4. M4, M4. Cable clamp. Ah, that reminds me, seeing cable clamp. The main thing that we want to be watching out for here is the drooping of the cable, which this thing connects to. That ribbon cable on the old Elegoo 3 Max was, in my opinion, a major F-up. The whole thing just dragged along the rest of the printer. So it was a bit of a risk when, especially on longer prints, that it would just catch on the print. Hello, Maker Viking and Gerard. I'm awful with names. Apologies. Ooh. Being a bit clumsy today. What the hell's going on? Doesn't seem to fit. Well, this isn't very good. What the hell's going on? Am I being a complete dum-dum? Doesn't fit. These catch on the frame. I must be doing something stupid. Yes, this is the Neptune 4. Three by 14, presumably this. That goes up through there and into that, which means that has to align with that. The best it can do is there. It's literally not possible. Somebody else must have had this printer and managed this. Does there need to be a spacer? Clamp? Doesn't show a spacer. Ooh. It's nowhere near. What the hell? There's something that's not going quite right here. I've not been able to identify exactly what it is. It doesn't fit. What the hell? Just as I was giving praise for their quality being good. There's no way it can work. It doesn't fit. Ta-da! Hot end. That looks great. Well, for a start, I think the screws are too long. Or whatever they're threading into is not working. It's going too deep or something. And the hot end, this assembly, just collides with this screw head. This part here. Is there a mark? No. This part here just jams on that. You can't... It doesn't go flush like it would. Your hot end's just going to stick out a weird direction. It doesn't fit. Oh. Interesting, eh? They go, wait, 4mm maybe that stick out of there. What's the situation with these screws here? Yeah, it looks like they're just bottoming out. There's only, they stick out of here maybe like 4mm, and there's only about 3mm of this heater insert for it to grab into. So you've got to try and force the plastic out the back of that. A back for the hot end. No, this is the back. It was, well, this... There's nothing else here. I feel like I'm like doing it upside down or something stupid, but I swear I'm not. It just doesn't fit. Well, maybe it will. Is that? It's not straight. Yeah, let's give it another go. Right, so the issue, I'll try and show you maybe from this angle. So here, on the hot end, mount, there's 3 screw positions. So it can only go in one place. On here, also 3 heater inserts. These are what you screw into. Very similar design to the Neptune 3. When you align these heater inserts with the position that it mounts, which looks like it's there, but it's not straight, this point here collides with this screw. So I think like that is straight, but as you can see it's like pointing up, or as you can rotate it, but then it's at like a 10-degree angle, which is also no good. What are you talking about? This part, that would go on the back. I can see that stopping the screws going in too far, but it's not going to help the alignment. It's not going to press this off. Have another look for some parts that I might be missing. Cable clamp, M4 screw, empty bag, M4 screw, M4 screws, M5 screws, empty bag, M4 screws, M4 screws, Ethernet cable, USB drive, antenna, nothing else in there. Some blocks for the wheels, the screen, the thing for the screen, tools, this, that's the filament sensor, zip ties, spool holder, power cable. Let's give it another go. We'll put this on as well. That will help the screw spacing a little bit so it doesn't press into here so far. I swear to God, it's not even close. It's completely on the piss. It would be simple to fix, like a spacer, and it would be fixed. But the fact is, it needs to be there, and it can't be. It has to settle there. Come on, Elegoo. They can definitely do better than this. That's so frustrating. It's fine now that screwing up. It's not fine. Just because the screw's in. This is how companies get away with stuff when people just go, oh, it's fine. Oh, it's fine. I like it like that. It's fine. This is not what fine looks like. Can't quite see that. Technically it's attached, but it's on the piss on 2 angles. That piece you have put on the back isn't the spacer by any chance. No. It wouldn't go down the front because there's standoffs. It wouldn't fit anywhere else. Well, I'll just continue with it like this. But I think my dreams of a nice Hue Forge print are going to be dead, because unless the nozzle is at least perpendicular to the bed, you're not going to get a very nice print. And now I lose the screw. All that faffing about, checking all the extra screws and stuff. I've now lost one. It's very difficult to show you exactly how badly this fits. Oh, I found the screw. Every other printer I've had from Elegoo has been pretty fine. Hence I was rather complimentary during our little warm-up. Oh, come on, give me strength. Where's the hole? Where's the hole? There. It's on, but like the nozzle is, instead of being like straight down at the bed like this, it's like cocked this way and cocked this way. It's very difficult to give you a better look. This is part of the problem. I'll see if I can clean this stuff out the way. I'll give you a warning now. I might just go handheld with the camera for a few seconds. So if you have a problem with motion sickness, you may want to look away for a bit. Right, let's see if I can grab this and hopefully not lose the cables in the process. So, unfortunately, we're on the dark side now. It's just in there where that screw contacts that piece of plastic that the whole thing goes to shit, really. In here. It's forcing everything out of alignment. It's not that obvious on camera, but by eye. Don't worry about this being, this is a little bit twisted, but that's not a problem. You can see, I mean, it's less obvious as well now that I've, oh golly, sorry for people with slight motion sickness. It doesn't look as bad now that I've forced all the screws down. But like, for example, if I take, was it this one that was really bad? No, I mean, the screws kind of have forced it all into position and just sort of stressed the plastic. You can see like here, that line normally would be just, I mean, before I assembled it, that would just be straight. But you can see how it's just kind of forced out of alignment. There's this kind of gap here because this is all being pulled into place by that screw. It looks like I'm fussing about something little on the camera. but it's definitely, it looks better now that I've forced everything into place with the screws. It just should sit flush and smooth and nice, but it doesn't. Another reason I won't be keeping this printer very long, unfortunately. Right. Yeah, probably could remove those washers. That might help. Maybe the washers have been put in the wrong place. But I'm not going to fix it. That's not my problem. Let's get the base. Ugh, this really is heavy. How do we do this? We hang it off the edge. I appreciate you trying, but don't worry. We're here to review the printer, in a way. It's not to review, but just to provide feedback and test it out. It's definitely on the big side for a solo assembly. You're not wrong there. If you have another person around to help you, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you've not done much printer assembly previously. If nothing else, just to help you with moving things around. Now I've trapped my hand. The thing I'm worried about is it like falling off the desk onto me. That's the one thing I want to avoid. That would not be fun. It's not power to have a printer and not pay for it. I'm paying for it. You just not with money. That sounds really dodgy. What I mean is, you have to, I don't know, 6 years of my life not really getting paid anything. How about that? doing this YouTube thing ain't all fun and games. There's certainly lots of fun stuff to it, but there's still plenty of shit to deal with like there is in every job. I'm sure people have, there's been issues, not so much nowadays, but in the past there were some issues with disreputable companies whose printers set fire. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has been badly hurt in a fire from something like that, but I don't think we've had specific news of someone being killed. I don't recall. Hopefully I've not got that wrong. There's a go on there, that looks nice. See, all this cable management stuff's pretty good. I'm not so sure about this. This was all a bit woolly wobbly, but that's all right. We've got gates belts. I don't think it's gates at the top, is it? But goots. Right, what's the next step? Screen. More lifting. M4B20 screws. M4B50, M4B18, M4B20. Oh, put that in the wrong place. Yeah, dipstick. That goes there. Can you print stuff for that? You can print stuff for that. You can print stuff for that. Not sure what that. Do you think the printed cable chains are smart for these? I hate how they route the cables. Drag chains are a difficult beast because while they sound like a be-all, end-all, perfect solution for wires and motion, they do have to be configured just right with the right cables, with the right amount of cables in the thing, positioned correctly and set up right to do what they do well. And if you don't, you'll wear stuff out faster than any other way. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. The cables that it comes with, PVC wires, not really ideal for putting in a drag chain. So you want like slippery ones, like PTFE or specific purpose-made drag chain cables. Yeah, I do remember a story about, I think his parents were like magicians, and they had like 10 kilos of that instant flash paper stuff under the desk, and then they were 3D printing with like a whole can of hairspray or something to try and get the prints to stick. I remember it being a really bad fire. I don't recall exactly if the person passed away. I've always found this screen solution a little bit weird, but I'll be honest, I don't mind it that much. One thing I think would be nice, just because of the size of the printer, it can be difficult to find a desk that has enough movement, because obviously you have to accommodate the base, like I have here. The base just fits, but if you move this all the way to the back, it goes all the way past. And then, of course, you have to accommodate that same space at the front. I mean, obviously, you can overhang the desk, that's fine, but you're more likely to knock it and stuff like that. Whereas if you put it sideways on, then your front and back space is fixed because it's then the sides of the printer. And then this just goes left to right on the table. It just means you then need to rotate the screen to be this way. So I think there's something on printables as a modification, just an adapter bracket to be able to turn the screen so it sits kind of here like this. If you get this printer, I would probably recommend that as a modification. Pretty handy. Also wants me to add this doobly-doo here. Our little Wi-Fi antenna. I don't think there's any major problems with the bed slinger this big. Like, yeah, it's not ideal. It's a large mass that you've got to move. But a lot of time, I mean, I suppose maybe it's changed a little bit over the last couple of years once we've got input shaping, but for a very long time, it didn't really matter that much because you would print slow for best quality anyway. Now, we don't have to do that quite as much as we used to. This is quite a nice bed. It's a very fine texture. Whereas now we can print much faster because of input shaping. Yes, big beds start to feel a little bit silly, but it is what it is. Spool holder, M4 by 18, 2 pieces. So there's some loose nuts in the top. You might have heard them sliding around earlier. I'll bring the camera up. You can't really see that well anyway, because it's looking down, but better than nothing, hopefully. So I don't think this is going to accommodate a particularly large spool of filament, which is a little bit disappointing. I think it's the same issue that they've done on their orange gigawatts it doobly doodah. They've gone for like a meter cube printer, however big it is, and the default spool holder is a 1 kilo spool holder. You are not going to get very far on a printer that size with 1 kilo of filament. Huh? Should fit in there. There we go. So this bit here is just the spool holder. Not the spool holder, filament sensor. Oh. Remember to tighten down both screws before you put the filament sensor on. Right, so that will plug in there. Oh, That needs to go on the other side. So we need to put the cable in now too. So we've got this cable clamp or one pieces. This does not look like an improvement, Elegoo. It's a slightly different bracket, but I can't imagine it's going to make much difference to the cable. Let's find out. So I think that's just going to go straight up here. So this goes up here and through here to here. Bibbidi boppity boom. This cable here, and this cable here. With that wonky hot end. This doesn't look so bad. It's not impressive though. Have motor connection. And wherever this is going. 2-pin LED? No. End stop? No. Is it senseless? There's no end stop in there. So it must be senseless homing. Where does this go? I don't know. What do I do with this? We'll do that in a minute. That's a problem for future Adam. Oh. This is worse than before. What are they? When inserting, you need to organize the cables and fold them together and install and fix them. Yeah, and you need to design it so it doesn't just collapse. To be honest, I think the old solution was almost better than this. This is pretty annoying. Maybe it will be a bit stiffer when it's finished. Okay. Is it better? You know what? I think it might actually work. Seems like they have fixed it. I can't really move that up very easily. Yeah. Cool. Good job. Not necessarily the way I would have fixed it myself, but if it works, it works. Now we have to do the things out the back. I can't get the printer any further away. So on one end we have screw, then rod, then washer, which is presumably being used as a spacer. That goes in here. You can see the hole, it just goes into the frame down there. And then up at the top, could turn this off, that might help. Oh. What are we doing? This. Just realised this whole time I've had this wire dangling in the most annoying way. I should have just put it down my shirt. What time is it over here? It's 5:30 in the afternoon. Microphone on the desk picks up vibration and taps and stuff. The closer you can get the microphone to your mouth, the better. So that's why I've ended up with this kind of diva solution, because it keeps it as close to my mouth as possible. So you hopefully hear mostly voice and less of tapping and other stuff. Got to put the other stiffening rod on. So screw, rod, washer. Really need to get a move on. I kind of was aiming for a 2-hour stream, including a print. I can't see anywhere where this is supposed to go. Ah. Up. No, because the LED plugs in down the bottom because it's not motion. Have they just given... Is it just the same harness as before? But oh, it's for the fans, isn't it? It's for the fans. For this chunky monster. Next step, M4x50s. It's kind of goofy, but you know what? I don't hate it. I've not used it yet. I might hate it, but I don't hate it on principle. As ideas go, it's not the worst. Oops. I'm just going to make a couple of notes quickly, just so I can remember the things, what I've said about this printer, so I can provide some feedback, because that's important. What else did we say? The carriage, of course, the hot end and extruder. Don't really fit properly. Cable droop seems to be fixed. I think that's sort of it at the moment. If you're printing huge objects, I don't see why you'd need extra part cooling. Good point. Yeah, I mean, you probably don't in a lot of instances. You know, cooling quick can be useful for some particular features, like overhangs and stuff can benefit from some additional cooling. Does that just go there? I feel like that would benefit from being clipped into this slot as well, but it isn't. Going to detector switch. That's in. X-axis motor, Z-axis motor, this and this unlabeled thing, this. Ah, the bottom side block has been adjusted before the factory. I think the actual things were, yeah, fine. Operation of touchscreen, auxiliary cooling, self-check function, auto leveling, model test, software installation. Right. Let's turn this beast on. Yeah, I can't show you the whole printer, so it's not possible. Hopefully don't blow up. Bing. Ah. Slight problem with the light is that this huge block of fan blocks the light. The system is currently starting. Please wait. Everyone just please wait. Please wait a minute. I think we're going to plug in because I'm not going to deal with Wi-Fi setup. That's just not worth it for me at the moment. So plug this in here. Oh, so easy. Righty-ho. Again, I believe this is a clipper printer. Oh. But the files are on an SD card. Of course they are, because we're still functioning like it's 2019. Eek. So they're using sensorless homing, which is a nice improvement, but I don't feel like it's tuned particularly well because those collisions are quite aggressive. Hello, Lars. And of course we have to wait for about 10 minutes for it to home. Pretty standard affair. Hopefully it all works. It does. God, that fan assembly is so close. The acceleration settings, oh God. The acceleration settings are really, really low. Why is it doing it twice? Weird. I just need to go get some filament. I should have done that while it was taking ages homing, shouldn't I? Luckily, I asked Elegoo for some filament and they kindly obliged. So we have some Elegoo filament. They sent me this to use with this printer. Didn't even know they made filament, but they do, apparently. Can't show you the box because it's got my address on it. Ta-da! Elegoo filament. And it's on a cardboard spool, so that's kind of nice. The bag feels dirty, which is a bit weird, but whatever. Three filament. PLA. 205 to 220. Colour, blue. Can confirm. Colour is blue. Can confirm. Filament is very hard. Oh, just broken my little knife. More filament for the ever expanding collection. Yep. But at least whoever ends up with this printer can have some filament too, right? Look how far it is down. Oh dear. There's no toolhead sensor or anything, so that's not going to auto fill. So what we will do is prepare, move Z. Oh, come on. 10 up. We shall preheat that. Hopefully that's nice and quick. Extrude. Load. Sorry, I know you can't really see. It's difficult when everything's so flipping huge. I pressed load. It's going. I don't know what filament's coming out of there, but it's literally dripping out. Oh God. What did they do? This. It's like brown. Hmm. Enter format. EN Elegoo Neptune 4 Max. That's what it stands for. Screw nutcracker. Tool holder. I have no idea how big any of these things are other than 3D Benchy. 26 minutes. I want to see a 26-minute Benchy. Oh, that's horrible. I probably should have turned off that heating before I started it. So I'm just looking at the web interface a little bit now. I don't want to break this one, so bed mesh unknown profile default. So it's tried to load a bed mesh in the start G code and couldn't. I think it's setting motor currents in the G code or something. Let me show you what I can see. Here we go. So it's clearly running fluid because we got that there, which is nice. There's no bed mesh loaded because it tried to. Again, they've got old configurations just randomly saved in here. It looks like they've completely disabled updating again. So you can't update at all. So you can see it's running an MKS Pi. That was our MKS control board. I've never seen so much stuff in here. I don't know what they're doing with all of this. That all looks fun. Oh, that's the Moonraker log. This is the Moonraker configuration. Have to zoom in here, and then we can have a look at. MKS. I'm not sure why they needed to specify this. Yeah, you could change homing speed if you wanted to. Oh, hang on. If I go. Yeah, it was just. Hang on a second. Let me move chat to the other window so I can check both. It doesn't have a camera, no. What on earth? Pressure advance. Max extrude cross section. Instantaneous corner velocity. Extrude only. Verify heater extruder. Heater bed. What is going on? What is it doing? Is it cancelled? Oh, it's heating up the bed to 60 degrees. Takes a little while. They got their weird, yeah, they got a webcam configuration. No, it's all commented out. As before, it's probably copied from something else and they've just modified bits. Homing override. Let's just... Why? What on earth is all of this for? This doesn't seem to be doing anything special. And yet they've got... How many? 45, 50 lines of G-code to modify the homing. It's like the most simple homing ever. G1 Z10 F500. So that would move Z up, home X, home Y, and then go to the middle, G8, 28 Z, and then home Z. And then home X and home Y again, and then... Oh. That is, to me, all of... Oh my god, these are just macros. Run current, run acceleration, home current, home acceleration. They're changing the homing, the current and the acceleration specifically for homing. It's sensorless homing, but you can just configure the TMC drivers. Where's the TMC settings? But this is a fixed printer. If you like for DIY, I can kind of get doing it. This is just overkill. For flexibility on multiple printers, maybe. So many macros. But they're still using bloody G codes to do heating. They're just like rammed Marlin into Clipper again. And even though they've changed the currents, it's still ramming in with so much force. Ugh. Give me strength. It's trying though. Where's print start macro? There is no print start macro. They've just... We're off. Oh, sorry. You probably want to see this printing. I'll be honest, that's quite an impressive speed for this. Oh, game over. The first layer was 100 miles away. I suppose we should have calibrated that first. So, note number 1, Z, not pre-calibrated. The operation will trigger the return to 0, confirm. And it was printing at 185 nozzle temperature. So that's probably the other reason it failed. Configuration, tune, can we... Benchy. Oh my god, look at this. Automatically calibrate the braid. Yes, please. Oh. I hate it every time it does that homing. It's so triggering. I'm trying to find... Is this 104, 109, 210? So I should have been printing at 210. I don't think it was. Well, keep an eye on that. Is it doing anything? It is heating. Okay, of course it is. Right, while that's doing a thing, I'm going to have a short break. I shall return imminently. I'm sure this will still be homing by the time I get back. You're supposed to do a manual calibration once before auto calibration. Why do this? Okay. I shouldn't do this. Don't do this, but I'm going to do this. Hopefully, we can use this piece of paper to do that. Hand twisting the nuts. Oh, you are having a joke, aren't you? Oh, oh dear. Oh, it's just resumed where it was. That's not what I want at all. Did it even turn off? Okay, I don't think it turned off properly. Right, I'm going to be back and we'll sort this when I'm back. I won't be too long. Oh, you probably can't hear me. I'll be back in a minute. Shall we try this again? Level. Yes. Oh, stop doing that. Oof. Oof. So auxiliary. When the printer is powered on, select level. Each axis automatically returns to home. After entering the leveling page, place a piece of paper between the nozzle and the platform. Yes, sir. Done. Next. Click the compensation value to adjust the distance between the nozzle and the platform, and push the pull the paper when the friction is generated. The center point calibration can be completed. So we do this. Click on auxiliary leveling. Calibrate the 6 points of the platform with the A4 paper by twisting nuts and push and pull the paper. This is daft. We don't need to do this. This is just wasting time, because if you have a mesh, adjusting the knobs is basically going to do nothing. Why is it homing? 0.1. It's better be perfect already. It's fine. 0.2. It's a bit close. 0.3. They should really just have spacers for this. Like, it's totally unnecessary. Have spacers, make them all the same, and then just mesh it. Or I'm going to have to go around the other side because it's too fucking big. Five. Six. Right. Amazing. Did anybody hear that, or did the noise cancelling just get rid of it? That sounds like you heard it. Yeah, it just basically went amazing. Auxiliary leveling. Now it's going to heat up and take ages to do it. Oh, yay. Bang. Bang. Oh my god, how many points is it doing? 121 points. Why? Why you do this? Oh man. I can move this back, I think. I can't zoom out anymore. Oh, because I'm on zoom mode. There we go. Now we can see things again. Let's take bets on how long this 11 by 11 mesh is going to take. If it takes less than 5 minutes, I'll be stunned. I'll try and put a timer on. A stopwatch. It'll be 20 minutes. Well, we'll put a timer on now because it has to do the heating up and it's already started that, so it already gets a head start. It's 18:05. "10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We've covered the full spectrum. I feel like I can already preemptively put in the notes, homing takes too long. Build another printer while you're waiting. I don't have any printers to build. I'll probably end up unbuilding my Voron 2.4 blue version, which is behind me, which is the first one I did. People, well, I didn't really want to do it because I don't really, I don't know. It just feels nice to not disassemble it because it was my first Voron which I built. And I've had it quite a little while. And it's done a lot of good jobs for me. I try to sell it. I put it on the Voron group for people to buy it, and nobody has purchased it. Maybe the price is too high. I don't really know. Still heating up. 58 degrees on the bed. Okay, well, SP&E. Cool. I don't. Hang on. I don't think there's an NDA. Well, I've not signed any NDA. I have a K1C on the way. I won't say any more than that. But I have one coming, so we can have some fun with that when it gets here. And explode the door. Hopefully they've changed the door design. The hinge was just too loose. We're 4 minutes in. We're on the second row. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, excuse me. What should we talk about while we wait? What information have they shared about K1C? So this is from Tom's Hardware. Features an all-metal hot end that allows it to print carbon fiber with ease. Okay, well, there's nothing to do with being an all-metal hot end, but sure. Along with a new mainstream printer, they also announced the Ender 3 V3. More Ender 3s. K1C is also enclosed Core XY up to 600 millimeters a second, apparently. Has an all-metal hot end. Did the old one not have an all-metal hot end? I swear it did. A better motor system? How? And a new build plate. Exciting. The C in K1C is carbon, apparently, because it can print carbon fiber. The Belgian tube's been repositioned so it moves more freely, and it's not stuck in the chain. The feet apparently don't fall off as easily. Reality Reps also said there's a firmware update for K1 and K1 Max which adds more expert features. Interesting. Very interesting. It's not going to be any higher temp. It's 300 degrees. 300 degrees? Can't talk. It's a 300 degree C all metal hot end. Pretty average. We're on point number 74. I can't believe they have the auxiliary leveling and then 121 points of bed leveling. Oh, but... This printer alone is just making me feel exhausted. Printing. I've inspired you to start a print. Maybe I can inspire you to start 121 point bed leveling. We can race. If it had one of those beacon style probes, I've forgotten the correct name of what the beacon probe is, because Duet now have one as well. And there's another type as well. There are a few. What is this? There we go. Eddy sensor. The eddy current. Oh, we're over 100 points. 107. Let's get ready on the stopwatch. Nine and a half minutes so far. Is this the last row? This is the last row. Everyone get excited. The last row hype. Ooh, one more point. Right. It's going to go back to the middle. And then it's got to process all those points and make a mesh. I don't think that's going to take 2 seconds. Oh, here we go. Pay attention to the distance between the nozzle and the bed. Can be adjusted by Z offset. So it took 10.5 minutes to level the bed. Amazing. Save. Saving data. Right, let's try the benchy again. 26 minutes. Oh my god. That contact every time. Oh, it's painful to hear. Hopefully the saving the mesh worked. Yep, looks like it worked. There's a default bed mesh. I did the Z offset before the bed mesh. If I have to do it before and after, then this is the most ridiculous thing. It does say to do it before and after. Well, if it doesn't... Oh my god. Observation light. We've got a nozzle light, and we've got the headlight. Yeah, so there was Z offset I did do beforehand. Senseless homing isn't that amazing, really. And it's not... Well, typically it's difficult to configure on Core XY, which is why it's generally avoided. I have it on the Darwin Evo, though. Okay, that looks... it's very difficult to tell. It's one thing to have a light. It's another thing to have the shroud so flippin' enormous that you can't see it anyway. And I think we're going to turn this off for a little bit more because that kind of blew everything off the plate. Right. We have functionality. We have speed adaptive motors enabled. We have sport mode fans as an option. It's vibrating the whole table. I'm just thinking the amount of power it's using, like, to heat this entire bed. It's printing at 200. I'm definitely changing the temperature. The screen's really unresponsive when printing. Yeah, 215 probably. Especially when it's printing fast. Why would you do it at 200 when your own material PLA suggests 205? If you're watching now, can you leave a like? That would be fantastic. Smash that like button. Oh, the idea even of saying that is awful. What I don't mind saying, though, is that you should check out the shop. Yay! vector3d.co.uk. Yay! I have a big order from JLC PCB coming this week, or within the next 7-ish days. So there'll be some new stuff, hopefully, provided they work as expected. I won't tell you what they are now, just in case they don't work and I can't put them on the shop. But keep an eye out, because there should be some new stuff coming quite soon. Got to decide what I'm going to have for dinner as well. What's everyone else having for dinner? Here's dinner time, evening meal, whatever you call it time. Ella, when did you go? You seem to have missed quite a lot. There were plenty of disasters along the way. It is shaking this table a lot. Like a lot. Sonic's peanut butter bacon burger. That's a whole lot of food, that sounds like. I don't know what it is, but it sounds delicious. Is this Sonic Drive-In? Is this American thing? I don't know what it is. Gammon eggs, peas and wedges. Classic. Steak tonight sounds like a lovely option. Pulled pork burgers. I do like some good pulled pork. Tesco ham, leek and potato gratin. Just a bacon burger with peanut butter. Yes, it's American. I saw somewhere else recently saying about peanut butter on a burger. I think I might have to try it at some point. What did you miss? Oh, well, the hot end doesn't fit properly. The hot end extruder carriage doesn't fit properly. It does 121 points of bed leveling, which takes 10.5 minutes. You have to do manual leveling as well as automatic leveling, even though it's completely redundant. And the fans blew the first print off the bed. One thing I've been thinking about recently, seeing as... I wonder if this has been used for nozzle leveling or something. One thing I've been thinking about recently, because of like YouTube members and such like that, of what benefits I can like reasonably provide in an appropriate timescale that doesn't come under gambling laws in the UK. I was going to try and do like a monthly giveaway for YouTube members, which sounds just like, oh, that would be nice. These people give this amount a month, so it'd be nice to give somebody on a giveaway a thing. It sounds great, but you're just not allowed to do it. It's basically illegal, which seems ridiculous. The only way you can make it not illegal is if you basically make it, you have to have free form of entry. So it has to be open to basically non-YouTube members. And I have to publicize both equally in order for it to not be illegal. At which point it's like, well, that's not rewarding the members, so there's literally no point in doing that. I mean, it would grow the channel in general, but the point is to reward these people who are members or on Patreon. Patreon I am not very good at supporting. I'd like to be able to do something consistent. I mean, consistency has not really been my ball game over the last couple of years. I'm just not very good at it. I tend to do things on a whim rather than consistently. I'd quite like to keep this Thursday slot for live streams. It's a goal. I don't know if I'll manage to consistently achieve it. It doesn't, on the legality of doing giveaways, it doesn't actually matter at all. As far as the whatever gambling commission, I've forgotten what the UK thing, how they call it. But I looked it up and read all the regulations like earlier this week. I've not memorized them, obviously, but I've read through them as I'm thinking about different ways. I'm like, okay, well, that's that rule. So what if we change it to be like this? And then, oh, there's that rule. So you have to change it to be like this, and then like this, and then like this. And it's like, well, the only thing you can do is just make it free and open for everyone, which is just not the point. Advertise it to everyone, make YouTube memberships the payment for entry. No, you can't do that. You have to have free entry. You can have, the only way you do it is you have free entry and paid entry. So there's two ways to enter. One of them you pay for, one of them is free. But you're not allowed to distinguish between the two. Why? There's just no incentive then for anyone to pay for a membership if that's an incentive as part of the giveaway. Charities can do it. Charities is the exclusion. They can do basically whatever you want because it's money for charity. Charity, you can do fundraiser however you like. People give money. It's basically gambling, but it doesn't matter because it's a charity. There are a few other things you can do, like they say you can have like a private members, a private club lottery. I mean, basically everything like raffle, giveaway, everything. If there's like paid entry, it's called a lottery, no matter how the kind of mechanisms work. And I was like, oh, they have like a private club one, but then it's like, it's the same thing where you have to have pay and free entry, and you might as well just, there is no free entry then at that point. I think for the private club one, you have to do it. The only way you're allowed to do it is if you're raising funds for like specific things for that cause, if you like. So for like, you could have a private tennis club that people pay to be a member of, and you have a raffle where you provide stuff and people pay tickets, and it's a bit of a gamble and you get some stuff back. Any funds raised from doing that activity have to be spent on apparatus for that private club. So you like, if say they needed new nets or new surfaces for the tennis court at the private tennis club, then you could do a raffle to raise money to do those things, and that's it. But they're not allowed to raise any money beyond that. So there's like a few things where it's like possible. You can do office ones as well, but you're not even allowed to do, if your business has 2 locations, you're not allowed to do a raffle that's for both locations. They have to have separate raffles for each location. It's just like gambling, and any way is just no. Unless you get a license in your casino, and then you can just do what you like. Like it's just bonkers. I mean, I understand like there need to be limitations on gambling because it's, I guess, kind of risky. But like, you just have to make people aware. Like that should be enough. Awareness that when, like, if I was to do a giveaway for members, when you become a member, the printer giveaway, whatever, is not a guarantee. You're part of the raffle, you get automatically entered every month, and you can get it if not. If you like, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But it's just not allowed. I don't know. Casino side hustle. It is weird though, right? Like, maybe I can make it a 3D printing casino, or I'll turn myself into a charity. I don't know how that is just be not for profit. Like, the way I'm going, it's not for profit anyway. But like, I don't know. It's just strange. It's so strange. Never stop the loot boxes. Yeah, I think it kind of stopped some of them, didn't it? But again, it's to do with that free entry thing. If it's like a free-to-play game and they give away chances at the loot boxes, then they have chances at free entry. And as long as the odds for a free entry box are the same as a paid box, I suppose the difference is then you can pay. I mean, I think one question, I think I emailed them. The question that I had was like, we have a members giveaway. If you're a YouTube member, every month you automatically get 5 entries. I know you have to still enter manually. I think you have to manually enter, even if you're already paid. But you'd manually enter, and you get maybe 5 entries because you're on the like £5 a month tier. So you get 1 entry per pound or something. And then the free tier can enter for nothing. You get 1 entry. The entries are the same, but you can get more if you're paying. It's not entirely clear if that is allowed. It sounds like it is based on like the loot boxes thing. It wouldn't be restricted to members. That's the thing, that because I would get the free entry, but it's whether you can have greater chance of winning if you're a paid member. It's not clear. It says the free and paid entries have to be treated the same. In other words, 1 entry that's free and 1 entry that's paid would have to have the same chances of winning the same thing. But can you have more than 1 entry per person? Like, for example, a member could do a free entry and a paid entry, and then immediately they get 2 entries, which versus 1 person with just a free entry. I don't know. It's really difficult. Obviously, I don't want to be breaking the law at all. But it'd be nice for me to be able to raise funds for the channel so I can focus on doing the best stuff I can in terms of output and product designing and that kind of thing. And also to have some excitement and engagement around a giveaway. I mean, it would be not a giveaway then. You have to call it a lottery, or like it's a raffle sort of thing, I suppose. Can you not ask a quiz question and award a random winner? I thought you used to be able to do that. Yes, that is one viable thing. But again, I think if you have paid and free entries, it's still different. And it's the question. So they have these weird, like super vague rules about the question in a quiz. You can have like a single question answer. But if the question is too vague or too easy, or the information is sort of suggested in the question, then it's not seen as an adequate demonstration of skill to be no longer gambling. The question has to be sufficiently difficult to prevent a significant proportion of people from entering. And if they catch you and you can't justify that your question is difficult enough, then you're fucked. The question on the V0. Yes, the X-Rail is typically not very good. It needs additional preload compared to all the other axes. So you might help wing a high wind rail, but you need some preload. Whereas most of the LDO rails, to keep them very smooth and light for 3D printing, not light as in weight, light as in less preload for reduced friction for higher speed. So yeah, typically that X-Rail can be a bit wobbly. I changed mine out for one with a bit more preload. Completely solved. Prints really well. Definitely can't do that, Matt. That's it would be the kind of thing where I wouldn't be able to show you where it is. I can't show you where the answer is. I can't tell you where the answer is. Anything that I would do about that would be illegal. But like maybe I could say it's in one of my videos. Like that's probably allowed. I can't say, oh, it's at 3 minutes and 30. Of course, the other kind of difficult question on it, the difficult thing about it, is because 3D printing is very niche. I'm sure at least a large majority of the people supporting members are sufficiently knowledgeable that pretty much any 3D printing question that's basic, they'd be able to answer. Whereas the majority of like general population, so general population wouldn't be able to enter because it's just about 3D printing, which is a very niche topic, which a lot of people don't know much about. So you could ask something like, what does FDM stand for? Like pretty much anyone that's done any amount of 3D printing would be able to get the answer to that question. But general population, you asked some random person who's never done 3D printing, what does FDM mean? They're not going to get that. So again, it just becomes down to like arguing and nuance and like, where is the line? Is so the rules are so vague, but like I'm not a big enough company to like, if I had a problem, but I believe I've done everything by the book, I can't afford a lawyer against whatever to like, to back up that my whatever argument is correct. Like, it'd be a huge risk. We could have a 3D printing competition each month. I think that would be possible. Where you have to print something and I have to choose the best thing. But I kind of... It's a demonstration of skill, basically. It's like draw your best piece of artwork and the best artwork gets a prize. And only the group members can enter. That, I think, as far as I'm aware, that would be allowed. But again, it prevents that skill level preventing a majority of people, or a significant proportion, I think was the terminology, preventing people from entering. What I don't really want is the idea of people entering. It could be some of like the highest paid or longest serving, longest supporting members could have been supporting me for like 2 years, and they don't get an entry because they've not printed anything that month, or like just, I don't know. And then I have to take loads of time on like analyzing prints, or I don't know, a print competition would be a nice idea. It could be a way to do it that requires skill. Well, that's kind of the point of the skill demonstration. The problem is you can basically pay to win by having a better printer. Again, it's not fair. The thing about the entry levels that is just open to every member is that every member has equal chance, or proportional to their support tier or whatever. Oh yeah, we're doing this printer. I forgot. What's the time? 2 minutes left. 38 minutes done. So even though, what did the title say? 32 minutes. It's already been going. I know that's Z height. So yeah, it's been going 23. So it should be about 25 minutes. That's not bad for a printer this size. My skill is how fat my wallet is. Yeah. I mean, I suppose you get a bit of that with like tier-based entries. So whoever's on the higher tier, if someone's on like a £10 tier versus a £1 tier, like proportional to how much you pay, you would have 10 times more entries. Or maybe we don't do it like that. Maybe it's 1 entry at £1, 2 entries at £5, and 3 entries at £10. But there's still a pay-to-win factor in there. I think I almost need like a discussion with a lawyer that has an expertise in gambling to help me come up with something that is fair and legal and viable, and because I don't know, even if I don't really raise funds for me, just to have that community engagement and a giveaway would be nice. I don't think I've ever won anything on a YouTube giveaway either. I mean, I say that I like this was, yeah, I don't know. But like specifically in that, like received from other YouTubers when I was younger or whatever and not doing this. I don't think I've ever really won from giveaway stuff, but it's still nice. I know it's kind of exciting, isn't it? That chance. Especially for people that are like going to support anyway. Like, it's not necessarily the entries are for the giveaway. It's kind of a thank you for those that are doing it. Discount codes is what I did just recently. So I wasn't going to necessarily promote this, but seeing as we're discussing it, this week I've had a £12 discount, I think, on VLMP kits for anyone that's a member or Patreon supporter. Because that's not gambling. You can accept it, you can not accept it. Anyone can buy it. There's no chance. There's just, you can use it or you can not use it, and everyone gets the same thing. I mean, I can keep doing that on different products and different discount levels and that sort of thing. 27 minutes. I mean, the walls are super wobbly. Unsurprisingly, there's quite a bit of wibbly wobbly ghosting sort of thing. The thing with the member-only discounts is like choosing the right products. I don't know what people want. Some people will have already bought some things. I don't know. What do we think about the member-only discounts for the people that are here? Does that sound like a nice idea, or does that sound like... See, the thing I don't like about that is just like... I don't know, I suppose it's kind of nice. It feels like that you only benefit if you're paying me more money, though, if you see what I mean. Like, if you're paying £5 a month, that should be all you need. It doesn't feel that great to go, well, if you spend this more, then you can get a discount on that. Like, it just... Does it sound fair? I just don't. I can potentially do overall for any product included. The trouble is, it'll end up getting used. So, because of like variance between like my products, resold products, and stuff like that, the margin on all these different products varies quite a lot. So some are like maybe higher value and lower margin, whereas some are maybe cheaper and higher margin. Some that are designed by me, obviously I'm like first tier, I've got them manufactured, so I will have higher margin on those. Whereas stuff that I'm reselling from somebody else's design that somebody else has made, there's already like levels of money being taken out of that, so the margin relatively is quite low. Free shipping goes a bit of a risk. Shipping's so bloody expensive. I think this printer right now is about $500. Obviously, convert that to whatever regional currency. There's a link in the description. It's not an affiliate link. I didn't bother with that. So yeah, there's a link down there. That'll take you to the Elegoo page. And there's a bunch of different things you can say with US, UK, EU, whatever. For some reason, you can't do it in GBP, Great British Pounds, but you can quote it in euros, and they're shipped to a bunch of different countries and stuff. Member-only discount on the store sounds like it might be a viable option for treating members. But then I guess I would want to link it so you can only get the discount when you're a member. You can't become the member, get the discount code, and then just use it for the next 6 months. Or create a new code every month that expires at the end of the month. And then do we vary it? I think the nice thing about doing it per product is that it kind of changes. Whereas you could become a member for £5, get your 10% discount, buy everything you want, and then you don't need to be a member for the rest of the year. If you change it every month, there's an incentive to go, okay, well, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted this month, so maybe I'll wait for next month. I think that's still like gaming the system, Matt. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, you can probably guess yourself. It feels a little bit dodgy, doesn't it? I think it almost actually doesn't matter whether it's 10% off, 50% off, or 100% off. If you have paid entry, you have to have free entry, unless it's skill based or charity. I think. As I say, I only read it through once, and I've done all this from memory, so definitely not legal advice. Hopefully that's entirely clear. But it's worth thinking about when you see other people's competitions and stuff online. You can think, oh yeah, we talked about that. Because sometimes they'll have some weird and random terms and conditions or something, and you think, why have they got those there? And it's because of some weird law that they're not allowed to do it if it's in such a way. I mean, suggesting things. I'm sure suggesting things is not illegal. Talking about them is not illegal. It's doing them that's illegal. So this is the benchy we made. If you remember, we're doing a live stream about a printer. It's a little bit stringy, but very wispy, so not necessarily a problem. The tower at the top's pretty good. The thing, you can see all the kind of wobbles in the wall, though. That's the bit that's a bit concerning. I don't know if they've got input shaper on. I suppose they have. I don't think it would have managed what it did without an input shaper. I'm pretty impressed, honestly, for the size of the printer to do it in half an hour. It was doing some pretty major acceleration for how massive this bed is. Whether that's something you want is up to you. And again, the nozzle is not flat to the bed, I don't think. That was definitely some slightly screwy assembly, and it's not quite right. But there we go. I think that's going to be it for today. Does anyone have any questions about the printer before we go? I'm getting cold now. I don't think I brought a jumper in here. It's normally quite warm under the lights. I think it's time for me to go get some food because I am hungry. Hug the heated bed. It is kind of warm, that's why I put my hands on it just now. Oh. Questions about the printer. How long will it remain built after the stream, or is it going straight back into the box? It'll cool down first. I mean, I was going to try and do a hue forge on it, but this hot end, because it's not straight, I think the layers are just going to come out a bit weird. I've not seen the Congro T500. Oh, that looks like a bit of a beast. Delivery to Great Britain is not possible for the Congro T500. Are you planning a Darwin Evo build? Yes, yes, yes. Let's talk about that. So, I've got a couple of other live streams I've promised last year and obviously didn't do. So, I'm going to try and do those first. And then we are doing a live build from start to finish of the Darwin Evo for Joe Prusa. Amazing. Every single bit will be live, as much as I can do, and that will form the basis of initial instructions for other people that would like to build them. We'll talk about it more on those streams, but definitely get subscribed for those, because that's where all the information is going to be on Darwin Evo. The first one we do will be a discussion of the bomb. So basically looking at all the parts that are included, and then we'll talk through, and you can ask whatever questions you like about things that you will include and don't include. And we can go through buying and links and cost and all this kind of stuff. So that'll be the first stream. It probably won't be for, I mean, maybe next week if I can squeeze some other streams in before then. It'll be next week, next Thursday, or the Thursday after, depending on where I get to, what deliveries I've had, and other stuff like that. But yes, whole Darwin Evo will be assembled right here. We're not, you know, yeah. Is it just the Elegoo Neptune 4 but bigger? Yeah. Yep, definitely is. Same weird firmware, same this, same this, same this. I mean, I don't have the Neptune 4 now because I gave it away. But it's kind of same old from Elegoo. I'm glad they fixed this. I mean, I say fixed, it's still kind of wobbly, but before it drooped onto the bed like this. So this is a vast improvement. Unfortunately, I don't really know how long this is going to last. These cables do become more flexible over time, especially as they get like softened with a little bit of heat. Time will tell whether that is a viable solution, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it will work out okay. So yeah, don't forget, hit subscribe now if you're not already. And maybe become a member. And maybe there will be some extra benefits that I can provide soon. If there's any other benefits you'd like as a member, or things that would incentivize you to become a member, let me know on like Twitter or Discord or something like that, so I know what kind of things people would like. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining in and contributing on our discussion about gambling and what is allowed with lotteries and giveaways. 3D printed names on the wall. That's quite a nice idea. But it's also kind of copying. Thank you, Ella. Goodbye. Bye, Lars. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. See you soon. Hopefully for some 3D printing goodness.